Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie, and today I'm, well, as you can see, currently out at Masuna fishing camp. This means I'm not able to make any gameplay related videos at the moment. Believe me, I really want to. I'm getting to the point where I can actually put out a decent video regarding implants and dormant realms, and indeed the Enforcer prototype, so I promise all those videos are coming in due time. However, because the internet out here is atrocious, for the next couple of days I'm going to be doing a few opinion pieces, just you, me, and, well, the camera, and I do apologise for how I look at the moment. I've been ill for the past couple of weeks, and, well, my eczema and other skin conditions have started to flare up, so yay, face for radio on camera. Today's video I wanted to talk to you all about exploration, a part of Eve Echoes that is very dear to my heart. It is probably my most preferred gameplay style in the game, and it's not in the best of ways at the moment, and I've got a few things that I want to talk about that I think could really improve it as a system. So we're going to be looking at the 3 changes I want added to exploration to make it worth doing. If you do enjoy this video or you find it useful or entertaining, please do let me know by hitting that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to keep me making content like this, then head across to my Patreon at patreon.com/Captain Benzie, where you can pledge to support there. I do also hope that the wind isn't getting too loud. I am using a brand new dead cat, but it doesn't really appear to be doing the job all that well. Anyway, without further ado then, let's jump right in with point number 1. The exploration minigame. Now, this sounds a little bit crazy, and again, I'm going to use those 3 words that everyone hates me using. In EVE Online, when you go exploring, there is an exploration minigame. When you hack into a container, you don't just click and then orbit and sit there until eventually it unlocks. No, a little minigame appears on screen that has you basically performing a kind of reverse minesweeper, where you're trying to find the central point of that container to hack into it, and you can access various different weapons and other subsystems in order to help you beat that container's defenses. It's really cool. It's a lot simpler than I'm making out, but that's kind of the point. It's something so simple, but makes all the difference. I don't mind that exploration has me jumping from system to system to system, scanning away and not necessarily finding anything. Kind of think that having more sites but making them not as valuable would be a way to do that, because it's more fun to find a site, even if it's not as valuable, than it is to find nothing. I would rather go an hour where I find 5 sites that are all worth 10 million ISK than go an hour where I find 1 site worth 50 million, if that makes sense. To me, finding multiple sites is more fun, but even having found those sites, locking onto a container and then just orbiting it or parking next to it until it opens isn't particularly fun. I think just adding a mini game that allowed you to access these containers would give you something to actually do, something that is meaningful. Even if it's fairly straightforward and simplistic, it's something that keeps you tapping the phone, and anything that actually has you tapping the phone and engaging with the game, it keeps you focused, it keeps you entertained. It's having something that you actually had to do with your hands and your thumbs would make it much more entertaining and engaging, and even if the rewards aren't great, people will still do it because they enjoy the gameplay. The second point kind of twins into that a little bit. I mentioned that I don't mind flying from system to system and scanning and not finding anything. The other side of that is that sometimes it can get really frustrating finding too many things. And you all know what I'm talking about here, Nihilist compressed spaces or the new era rifts. And I get it. I actually quite enjoy doing the era rifts, jumping into something like a healer or a phantasm, going and scanning these rifts down, jumping in and completing them for some rewards. It's fun and it's entertaining, but when I then swap to my Probe Explorer and I go exploring and all I find is era rifts or Nihilist compressed space, that's not so much fun. The problem isn't that there are too many era rifts. The problem, I don't even necessarily believe, is that there's too many Nihilist compressed space, although we're going to come back to those for point 3. The point is you don't know what something is until you've scanned it, and it feels terrible to scan something all the way down to 100% only to find out it's another era rift. And you can sit there and you can look at something and go, that's pretty much likely to be an era rift. I'm pretty sure that's an era rift or a Nihilist compressed space. But you're going to want to scan it anyway, just on the off chance that it isn't. In EVE Online, there is a system where you start to scan something, it will actually give you the icon for it. So you open your scanning probe interface, you do a quick preliminary scan, and suddenly all of the stuff that you've just touched on, suddenly it has a wormhole symbol, or it has a relic site symbol, or a data site symbol, or a combat site symbol. You immediately know a little bit of information about what you've scanned, and that then gives you the knowledge and the know-how to make that decision. You look at something and go, okay, it's a wormhole. Do I want a wormhole right now? Actually, yes, a wormhole could be really useful, because then I could go day tripping in a wormhole. And so you scan that one down to completion, but you've still got 3 other signals in system. Now, this one's a relic site. Yes, I'm definitely interested in that. I'm exploring. That's how I make my money. This one's a combat site. That one I'm not so interested in right now. I can now choose to just ignore that one. This should be how we have it in Eve Echoes. When you activate your scanner for the first time and it does its little wee all the way around, when it completes and it opens up that interface to say what you have found in the local area, I personally believe that every single waveform should have a little symbol next to it. It doesn't need to give you too much. Just let you know, is it an era rift or a nihilus space, compressed or dead space? Put all of those under one symbol. Is it a relic or data site? Put it under that symbol. Just so that people who are scanning have that choice to look at things and go, right, that's what I'm looking for, let me hone in on it. I don't think we should be getting rid of era rifts. I don't think we should necessarily be getting rid of compressed spaces or dead space gate. I think those have their place as content. All that's frustrating about it is when you're flying around as an explorer, you're looking for relic or data sites, and you keep having to scan things that aren't relic or data sites. So that ability to actually know straight off the bat, this is not a site I'm interested in. I can ignore that symbol and focus purely on the one below it, which is a relic or data site. I don't know which, I just know it's one of those two, so I'm going to focus on that and scan it down. Now, when I suggested this in the Catskull Discord recently, an interesting question was then added onto this. What about the red scanners? I actually think that this could work for the red scanners too. If you do a red scan and it pulls up something in your system, let us see whether it's a frigate, a destroyer, a cruiser, a battle cruiser, or a battleship, or a capital. Have that little icon next to it. Don't tell us what it is, just tell us it's one of those, so that I can choose whether or not it's worth my time to continue actually working down those waveforms. And I know that there are going to be some people who are a little bit like, oh, that's too much information. It's scanning. There's something I'd like to ask you folks. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think that this is a good idea with the scanners, and specifically the part with the red scanners? Do you think it's too much information to know if what you're scanning down is a frigate or a cruiser? Do you think that actually that's a good amount of information? Get down there and let me know. Point 3, the final point of this, isn't exactly to do with exploration, but I'm putting it in here anyway because we've mentioned nihilus compressed spaces and nihilus dead spaces, and I think this is a change that would really benefit with those. I think nihilus dead spaces do get used quite often. People will fly into those and clear them. There are people out there who do that with nihilus compressed spaces as well, who go in and just ninja loot all of the Bistot or whatever out of them. It's a good way of doing that, and every time I mention that nihilus compressed spaces are quote-unquote useless, there's always someone in the comment section who says, actually, I really enjoy them, which proves that it's easy to forget that you're not the only person playing this game, and we all have our own different opinions. Some people don't care about being top of the ISK, they just want the fun side of things, right? I think the one change you could do to nihilus space that would just make it really exciting again is to open it. Open both ends of it. When you jump into a nihilus space, you come into a private room, you come through your own private gate, and of course there's a donkey. You come in through your own private gate that takes you to your own private room, then you jump into a centralized public room. There are then a number of private rooms off it that lead to gates into other systems. This means that the central room could theoretically be PvP enabled. You could be in Innsmother, you enter a nihilus compressed space, you get to the central room and there's someone already in there who came in from Delve or Venal or from somewhere else. Open those private gates so that I can jump in an Innsmother, go into that central room, and then go out the other door and end up in Venal. This is basically wormholes. You have an area of space that is connected at random to other systems around New Eden. So you've got this particular J space, and there's a gate that comes in from Innsmother, and one that comes in from Venal, and one that comes in from Fountain. Those all connect together, and you can use those as quick ways to get between those areas. It's a way to explore other areas. I think that if you opened up the other sides of nihilus space, even compressed spaces would suddenly become much more used. Because remember, a compressed space ultimately starts to collapse the moment someone enters it, and the reason there are so many of them is because very few people enter them. If you could jump into a compressed space and actually possibly come out somewhere completely different, that's worth exploring. That's worth having a look into to see, oh, where does this one actually lead to? Moreover, the other thing I would like to see them do to compressed spaces add relic and data sites into them? Don't hurt me, but I genuinely think that inside a Nihilus compressed space, there should be some boxes that are open for explorers. And I think that'd be really interesting, and you'd see people actually completing those a lot more than they currently are. And more people in Nihilus spaces, the more PvP there is going on. There's so many things that link into this. Those are my 3 points. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you're thinking, how you're feeling about this. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm absolutely crazy and that none of these ideas are good at all? Would love to know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, folks, happy sailing and see you in New Eden.